Hi, and welcome to today's book chat. So today I'm going to be speaking about All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, and I will just show the book. There we go. And I'll show it again at the end. But so I had never actually heard of Anthony Doerr before, and then maybe a month or so ago, I just started seeing this cover everywhere. It was popping up on Goodreads, it was popping up on Amazon, it was popping up in blogs and newsletters that I look at, and it had all of these awards and accolades. So I figured, I'm going to give this a chance. And let me just say that I am quite glad that I did. So just to set the scene a little bit, the book is primarily set in the years just preceding World War II and the years just leading up to the end of World War II. And it is looking at a variety of characters, the two most prominent characters being a young girl named Marie Lore and a young boy named Werner. And please forgive me if I'm getting these pronunciations wrong at all. So, Marie Lore is the daughter of a locksmith who works at the National Museum in Paris. And when she's 6 years old, she goes blind. And so we see and understand the world in a different way, a little bit from her perspective. And then Werner is a young orphan who has, I guess, a voracious mind. He loves knowledge, he loves learning. And so one way that he learns is through radio broadcast coming from a Frenchman. All right, so to get into more of the experience of this book, the writing style, at first glance, it almost seems simplistic, but the thought and detail, the word choice that went into it must have been absolutely incredible. It was one of the strongest experiences of feeling exactly what I imagined the characters would have felt in reading a novel without actually being told their feelings that I've probably had in years. The writing in this book is so good, I felt like I could taste it. It was basically a feast for the senses. Anthony Doerr did an incredible job of creating rapture and awe for his readers. And so in the novel, as we learn about Werner's growing fascination with technology, specifically the radio, how it works, the waves that surround us constantly, I was filled with this wonder that I imagine he would have felt, with urgency and anticipation to understand. And when he had success and he had triumph, that wonder was so strong, it almost felt like my own. And for an author to be able to do that, to create that kind of intense emotion, it was just beautiful, and maybe one of the best examples I've ever seen of the ability to show rather than tell. And I guess it translated into the ability for your reader to experience. And yeah, I was blown away a number of times. I kept on making all these notes. I'm just like, learn from him. This man is a master. And so one thing about this book is that it does ask to be read slowly. So if you're a skimmer, it's possible this book may not be for you, or at least you may not get out of this book what is possible to get out of it if you really take the time to read slowly, to draw your gaze from the page when you need to, and contemplate what you've just read or seen or heard or experienced. If you do that, the book itself becomes an experience rather than just reading a story, which doesn't come along all too often. And so when it's there, I'd say take a moment, sit back, and let yourself enjoy that. So another thing I want to talk about in this book are the themes. And really there are too many to fully list, but I'll talk about some of the major ones that really sat with me. So the mystery and wonder and the consequences of technology just ran throughout this book. And you can see that in the title, All the Light We Cannot See. There's light that exists in the universe that our eye cannot see, just like we can't see radio waves, all the technology that's just kind of flying and zooming around us. I won't go into too much detail, but it has a major thread to the book, and it was really interestingly carried out. So another theme that really stuck out was that of the strength of greed and love and passion, and the ways in which those strengths, and if we let them overtake us, can either have very powerful positive effects or very powerful negative effects, both for us and for humanity at large, basically. Also, the power of fear and how that can completely consume lives. Really, really interesting, another aspect of the novel to just think about and contemplate. And if you read it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Another is the question of happiness and whether being happy often enough is enough in life. Many of us have gone through really hard, just painful things that sometimes you can't completely let go of, but if you can still find moments of happiness in that, is it enough? And I'm actually going to read a little line from it, the novel that just stuck with me, and I'm going to only read a short enough section that, don't worry, it doesn't give anything away. So, is she happy? For portions of every day, she is happy. When she's standing beneath a tree, for instance, listening to the leaves vibrating in the wind, or when she opens a package from a collector and that old ocean odor of shells comes washing out. When she remembers reading Jules Verne to Hélène, and Hélène falling asleep beside her, the hot, hard weight of the girl's head against her ribs. And so I love that, just a beautiful moment of happiness, of being able to hold on to the things in your life that are good, even when there may be so much in your life that really isn't good at all. Another question is the question of time. What do we do with it? What should we do with it? And considering the tragedy of wasting time, which is something that a lot of us do without even thinking about it. And I think it's really powerful when a book can make us consider such an important aspect of our lives. And so I'm going to read a little section that really made me think about that strongly as well. He thinks of the old broken miners he'd see in Zulverin, sitting in chairs or on crates, not moving for hours, waiting to die. To men like that, time was a surfeit, a barrel they watched slowly drain. When really, he thinks, it's a glowing puddle you carry in your hands. You should spend all your energy protecting it, fighting for it, working so hard not to spill one single drop. Yeah, so I just thought that was a beautiful, amazing way to think about time and how we spend our time and how we do so often just let it drain out, but, you know, it's all we have. So, obviously, you can tell that I really enjoyed this book. I highly recommend it. So, again, that is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. And if you go over to my website, I'll have some links for where you can find the book, or you can find it in your own way. And if you have been watching these videos, you know my tagline. I talk about fiction full of heart, thought, heart, and hope. This book definitely has all three of those. And yeah, so if you read it, if you like it, come on over to my blog or come on back over to this video. Tell me what you thought, and have a wonderful, beautiful day.